Now, usually what I do at the end of the year, I look out the flies that I caught fish on last year, and this is one of the flies. This is a yellow May pattern that I did really well with. So I'm going to tie that. I'm going to tie them. I'll probably tie a good dozen or so just to make sure I've got a few in my box. The hook I'm using firstly is this is a full of milk. It's a size 16. Black nickel, as you can see, barbless hook. It's the ultimate dry. Thread I'm going to be using just a yellow thread. It could be a Cahill or anything. Something in the same colour scheme as the fly that you're tying. As I say, this is the yellow May. So I'll wax my thread. I'm just going to put down a layer of thread halfway down to basically the line with the point of the hook, halfway back up, and then I'm going to tie in some CDC feathers. Now I dyed these are a golden yellow from Vineyards. I just use a golden yellow dye to get this colour, and these were not obviously a natural white, a domestic duck really. Now you're looking for a wing length round about, say the hook length, you could tie forward 2 or 3 turns. And then what you can do is trim away a taper at the back. Now I'm just going to leave this tied forward at the moment, and then I'm going to come down. Now on the way down I'm going to tie in. Now the cape I used was this cheap neck I had. It was like a kind of Cree, it was a ginger like colour, and I dyed it the same colour, the golden yellow, to get this nice mix. It just gives you a golden olive, as I would call it. Now I've taken up one of the larger feathers. Now I'm never shy with the tail fibres. You can always take them off. You can't add them on. And I like to put a few on. So we're looking for a tail length, at least the hook length over the back of the bend. So I'm just going to trim away the excess. As I say, tie this on the way down. Just catch it in. Just pull the fibre down to where you want it caught. Just check the length. As I say, don't be shy. The tail length on these flies are quite long, so now you get to the back, we can either come underneath with a turn to lift the fibres and separate them, which I like to do. Now for some reason in the body I wanted it slightly lighter. Sometimes it's like this. This is just a pale. You can see it's got a light golden olive. It's just a much same sort of dye, but just allow it to just don't put too much into it. Just always, for some reason, I usually like it lighter. I don't know why, I just always did that. And I've got a lot of confidence in that type of body, or this colour anyway. And then we take our thread up to just before the wing. There's a couple of ways. This I'm just going to wind it up, just like a herald. You could twist it, but I want it reasonably flat. There's the dun you're representing, so it's a bit softer. So you want a lighter coloured body. Trim that away. See how we're sitting. Now the dubbing, you're just looking for in this case you can see this is just a bit finesse. It's kind of orangey looking colour. And you'll see that in the natural. So I'm just going to put a tiny bit of dubbing at the back of the wing. Just to basically tidy this up, and then bring the thread to the front. Now you could practically fish this fly like that. The wing, as you can see, I've got to post first before I can actually form the parachute hackle. So you can either do it before it or before you put the wing, the body and the tail on, or you can do it the way I'm doing here just now, is just tie it in. Because you don't get many turns in these hackles, and this is from the same neck, this same cheap neck, just using the smaller hackles. I'm going to use up as much as I can of the feather. So I basically bare the stem. You need to have some of the stem so you can wind up. Now it pays to make sure you wax your thread here, gives you a wee bit more grip. Just catch your feather or your hackle in front of the wing. And then what, as I say, I'm going to do is just post both the hackle and the CDC. So what we do is we come round with a turn, and when we tighten up, we tighten at this point when we're holding it, come round. So we go up a good mil or so, go back down, and we finish off with the thread in front of the wing. And then we search for my hackle pliers. a really light pair of Hackle pliers here. Now don't be shy with the length of the fibre. The length of the fibre of the Pararchute, you can get away with quite a long fibre. And I purposely at times try and do that. Now I'm going to use up the full Hackle. Now I've wound it around and wound it down. So I'm going to lift the fibre up. I've got the waste end here. Just going to catch this in. Make sure you catch it in nice and tight. I'm going to pull back. It's a very light Hackle. It's not, how would I put it, a stiff stem on these. It's you don't need a lot of turns. It will still hold quite fine. And then we can just tidy up. Now obviously if you catch one or two fibres you can trim them away. Go back to our dubbing again, just a tiny bit of dubbing, you don't need much. Basically here just to give the colour of the thorax, but at the same time tidies it up. So I'm just going to lift the fibres back. It's not a fussy fly, it's not a fancy fly, it's just a fishing fly. Just one that works. A wee bit of varnish on my thread here. Going to whip finish. Oops, got a bit of fluff there. Just lift your fibre back. Whip finish. And there we are. And as I say, it's a simple dressing. The Pararchute Hackle obviously spreads away to the fly. And there we are. Now all I've got to do is, you can trim away some of these fibres if you want, but it's okay the way it is. As you see, it's reasonably simple to tie. When you do any colours, I'm going to be tying a few different colours with this exact same idea. I'm using the CDC for the body and so on, and some olives. I want to do some dark olives. Basically, they're coming off at they're starting to come off at the moment. So the yellow May was top of the pile. I had my desk, so I said, okay, I'll just tie some of them because I enjoy tying these. The yellow May can be a fussy. The fish can be quite fussy on these flies, but when you've got a pattern that's working, I have 2 or 3. This is just one of them, and as I say, it did really well to a point where I ran out. Just the one left. So I usually don't go down as low as that. I always usually a good 2 or 3 left. But anyway, there we are. It's a Pararchute Yellow May done with the CDC and just standard hackles. So I hope you enjoyed that, and thank you for watching.